Hello, my name is Fergus and this is my interview for DashFight. I wouldn't believe them because, there's so many protocols that has to be taken to go to events. You need to get tested. There's so many people at one building, it'd be hard to have an event run like that. But because the WePlay staff here have ensured the safety of the participants, because of everyone's tested and everyone's tested at the hotel, and because it's invitational, we only have 16 people, so there's less people and less risk of it spreading around. So no, I wouldn't have believed it otherwise. I wouldn't have believed it, no. I mean, I was pretty excited because, I get to see my friends again. Like, it's been a year and a bit since I saw them last. So and I'm just happy to see them again and just finally get to play some offline Tekken after a year of enduring online. So like about 90% of tournaments I would go to would be like standards, like double elimination kind of tournament. Like you lose twice, you're out. So with this format for WePlay, it's nice to have two groups of 8 people each. So you play everyone. You play versus everyone, and it gets you fighting against different levels, different skill sets, and people from all over the world. And it's just it's nice to test your strengths and your weaknesses versus different playstyles and different characters. And this format definitely allows you to do that. So basically, when I was playing online, because of the delay in the connections, it'll be hard to react to things. It would be hard to punish opponents for the mistakes as it should be punished in the first place. And then some mix-ups become fake, as in, like I said, it's hard to react to them. So in an offline session, your reactions are quicker, your situations, them better because you're able to react to the situations that happen. And like if the opponent makes a mistake, you can capitalize on it even harder than you would normally be able to do online. So I think offline, like, it's real Tekken, like it's where everything is optimized. There's no excuses, like there's no drops in connection that can mess up critical moments, like round changing moments. So yeah, it's a huge difference, and I'm finally be able to know that I can believe in my own skills to play this game rather than online screwing me over. So basically in those 2 years I would have been traveling a lot. So so I was able to play offline versus in places like these, lots of strong players in one building. I get the opportunity to play all of them, and just being able to actually rely on my own skills to play in the game rather than something influencing, something interfering with it, such as online connections, being able to block things, being able to punish things optimally, these kind of things. So I was pretty confident in my skills in those years, but because of COVID, obviously we're stuck at home. This is all we have really for a long time, and it makes you doubt your own ability to play the game because your playstyle will degrade because you're making your playstyle suitable to suit the environment that is online. So because offline is available for now anyway, I'm able to trust in my ability to play Tekken with no interference whatsoever. Me and my friends, we would go on holidays, from school. So we went to Spain, and we were all under 18 at the time. So obviously it was just us, it was just school kids on a holiday out. We stayed with my friend's aunts in a villa in Spain, and we got a lot of beers, Estrella Damm, I think that's what it's called. We got a lot of them, and we played poker one night, and then I got very, very drunk. And we were on the streets, and then we were asked, are you guys of age? And then we didn't have any ID to show because we definitely weren't of age. So we actually almost got in trouble, legal trouble for that. So but we managed to get out. He let us off with a warning, but it was pretty scary at the time because we were obviously not meant to. Yeah, that's probably one of the most interesting things I can remember happening. No, so once off, we were dumb kids, everyone has these moments. No, I think I'm pretty law-abiding citizen otherwise. So with fighting games, I played them my whole life. Like as long as I can remember, like at least since I was 4 or 5, with like Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 and onwards. Some Mortal Kombat, some Dead or Alive in there. I know a lot of people played Street Fighter when they were younger, but my first Street Fighter was actually Street Fighter 4, so like way later. So I was always like a 3D player kind of person. And so I got into it really competitively when Soul Calibur 4 came out. And I got into it. I wasn't really good at it, of course. I was 12 or 13 at the time. And it was when I learned more about the FGC. Like, you know, I looked up, oh, there's tournaments happening. There's people who play this game online. They actually like go beyond casual level. Like they're learning mechanics of the game and how it works and stuff like that. So I was looking into that kind of stuff. And then I found my local community 2 years later with Street Fighter 4. So yeah, I just 11 years past now, I'm here, like, and you know, like some of them are my closest friends to this day, like in the Irish community, and especially the recent Tekken Sound community that's come up in the last few years. So yeah, it's just always been there for me. Like as long as I can remember, like fighting games has always been there. Well, obviously, like outside fighting games, you know, I don't have many other hobbies, but like this is such a huge part of my life. You know, I have a whole social circle based on fighting games. I have revenue coming in based on fighting games. I've traveled the world because of fighting games. I got to experience countries I thought I would never go to ever, like Pakistan, Singapore, Colombia, all over Europe, America a bunch of times, Las Vegas especially. I thought I would never go to these places, but because through fighting games, I had the opportunity to go to these with my friends within the fighting game circle. So yeah, it's huge, like life-changing stuff for me. It was something I kind of needed when I was a kid because I didn't really have much else going on when I was a kid. Like I had friends in school and all that, but they weren't really into fighting games. So it was just like kind of me just playing this. And then when I found my local scene, it's like, oh cool, other people that actually play this. And then we just, you know, from here, this is where I am now, like in Ukraine, in the WePlay Invitational. So, well, my father passed when I was 10, so he wasn't around for that. But my mother, she didn't really support it initially, but she was always like, as long as you keep up your grades, you can do what you want, right? And then, so I would come home from school, just get my homework out of the way, and then just go on ranked on Street Fighter 4. And then I was just play throughout the day and night. And then she was like, as long as you know, do your work, get your grades. And I did for the most part as well. Like when in the first 2 years of we say high school, you know, I had like some of the best results in the whole year. Like I was consistently like first place in results for first and second year. And then when I joined the local community, it started dropping. So yeah, it's not all like positive, but no, my mom said like she didn't really pay much attention to it, you know. She just, but like in the recent year or two, she's like, oh, texting me like, oh, how was your trip in Singapore? How was your trip in Germany or whatever, right? And then, you know, I just say, oh yeah, I'm doing all right, you know. But it is just, it's a complicated situation, to say the best. When I qualified for the finals in 2017, so that was when I realized, oh, there's a lot of eyes on me. My following is getting bigger. Like I could actually make something out of this, you know. So I focused on I've been streaming for a long time before that, but I was streaming pretty much consistently throughout my whole journey in Tekken. And I realized the more I won, the more I did better, the more people are watching me, the more people are like subscribing and donating and following me, these kind of things. So it's like, I can use this legacy I have that I built in tournaments with the results I got and just make content, stream, focus on my YouTube, focus on my Twitter, and then hopefully when my following grows, I can branch from here to get connections or network out a little bit and grab something with this. So basically, when the pandemic happened, I figured, because I'm gonna have a lot more time to myself, you know, because I'm not gonna be traveling. So I decided to put more hours into my Twitch. My YouTube was on like a big break, you know, I wasn't really focusing on it so much. But with the pandemic, I said, okay, I'm gonna put all my efforts into my YouTube. And it has picked up a lot. Like now to actually like consistently upload the videos like couple of times a week. So yeah, so I would use my Twitch to promote my YouTube, and it just kind of, everything just kind of grows together. But during the pandemic, there's like online tournaments being hosted. But I decided, you know, I'm just gonna take a break from competing. I'm just gonna chill in ranked mode or whatever, just play. You know, I don't like the stress of tournaments, especially I don't like online tournaments in particular. So I just focused on my streaming, focused on my YouTube, and just, you know, like, because I was still playing the game. Like I wasn't taking a break from the game. I was still playing it, just not playing in tournaments. I entered one tournament, and I won it somehow, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'll keep the 100% win rate. So, well, the thing was, like, the thing about tournaments before COVID is like, if a person, I was like using them as like a validation thing, as a, you know, like it just keep myself busy, basically, just as a distraction almost, because I was thinking, I have these opportunities handed to me essentially, and I would feel like it's wrong to not take them and not to travel and not to, because I know a lot of people in my position would be like, oh yeah, let's go, you know, like let's go to Vegas, or let's go here or whatever, let's go to Evo. So I would feel like it's wrong if I don't take it, even if I'm not so competitively invested as other people would be, because I'm not like a big fan of tournaments, like straight up, as much as I go to them, which is funny enough in itself. But I just don't like the pressure around it. I don't like the pre-tournament anxiety. Like I don't train or prepare for anything. I just play, you know. Like, so I do feel like a bit guilty sometimes when I get opportunities that other people don't. So, but I mean, I still do well somehow, because I play the game a lot. So I just have a lot of like muscle memory, and I'm quick reactions to situations purely by just playing the game constantly. But like in terms of practice mode, I don't use it too much. I just focus on playing, and just, I think my game awareness is one of the best in Europe, because I just play so much. Definitely Amsterdam 2018, the Tekken World Tour Finals, because I was one of the finalists then. And it was just because it was me and 3 other Europeans representing the tournament, and it was just nice to have eyes on you, you know, like, oh, for especially with the European scene, I mean, they're looking at us like going, okay, these guys are representing us, you know, let's cheer for them. And it was just like kind of nice being in center tension a little bit, you know, at the finals, everyone's like wishing me good luck and, you know, do Europe proud and all that. So it was nice, you know, people being nice to me, basically. But you know, the whole venue, the weekend was just amazing. Like I'm sure you saw, Rangju won with Panda, the character that no one used, so it was a nice surprise at the end. The reveals were so nice. Like one of my favorite characters got Nens that weekend, so that was just like cherry on top as well. And it was just an amazing weekend. Like for me, it would be probably the best tournament for me to date so far. Well, I mean, if I can inspire people from my country especially to play the game, because my country doesn't really get much representation on like a kind of like a global stage level in any fighting game. Like there's me and there's 2 other people from Ireland that would have gotten this kind of attention at some point. So I like to inspire people in my country to play fighting games more and be more competitive about it, and then travel more and make a name for themselves. I would like, because in Tekken 7 especially, the scene for Tekken in Ireland has really grown, and I think some of the reasoning for that was because of my success on stage on streams, because I know like a bunch of Irish players playing, some of my good friends to this day, so like, oh, I saw you on the stream, so I looked up Irish Tekken, and then I found my way here in this Discord or in this communication hub that we have or whatever. So if I can inspire that in people in my country, and especially people who use my characters, you know, I think I'm doing a good job for myself then. But like what I said, you know, I hope I can inspire people in Ireland. I can inspire people to play my characters. Like, you know, I like when you use a character, you have like a whole like player base of that character. So when someone using this character, especially if it's not like a common character, people would like look up to one person that uses this character that they do as well. You know, like take strategies from them, look at their highlights, look at their gameplay for some inspiration to add to their own. So yeah, that's what I hope to do for people who watch me for any reason, for my country, for my characters, just in general. Well, obviously, like we haven't really had any locals prior to the pandemic. We have little pockets around the country, like little scenes, but basically the main scene would be in my living room, because whenever I find an Irish person, I would say, okay, come into the Discord that we have, and if they seem normal and they're not going to steal my stuff, I would say, yeah, just come to my house and we can play Tekken. Like the first session I had, we had about 15 people, like just staying overnight, just get some pizza, get some beer or whatever, and just play Tekken. And you know, like that's all it is in the end. Like, you know, because you know, Tekken is a game, of course, but it's also like a social thing. You know, people come together, just like people are doing right now outside here. Like they're talking to each other, they're spectating the matches, and then they're getting hype over their friends, cheering for their friends. That's what it should be in the end. You know, like no one should like devote their whole like life and personality to the game. It's just about meeting people along the way.
Like, how do you consider yourself as an? I wanted to ask that as an Irish player from Irish region or UK region as a whole.
So basically, there's like kind of a running gag, and I don't know how I feel about it, but basically, if I do well in a tournament, I'm UK. If I do bad in a tournament, I'm Irish, according to the UK scene. That's how it goes. No, it's not. I mean, I don't mind it much, like, you know, because Ireland, UK kind of get lumped together sometimes. So like, you know, especially London people, like, oh, if I am in the grand finals of a tournament, it's like, yeah, go for it, because, you know, go UK, you know. But I would like to keep myself to the Irish region, because, you know, that's obviously where I'm from. Our scene is small enough, you know, because I want to represent them. And like I said, we don't get many opportunities on a global level. So I want to fight for them, you know, not Ireland and UK, just Ireland. So from Ireland, so you think it's because our scene is so new due to Tekken 7? We don't have much of a legacy compared to other countries in Europe. Okay, so yeah. So in terms of our scene, because it's a very new scene in Tekken 7, we don't have much of a legacy compared to other scenes. So we don't have enough time for people to really like level up and bounce off each other. It was really difficult because in Tekken prior to Tekken 7, you know, it was not as popular as now it is. So it was essentially me and one or two other people the odd time coming together, like maybe once a year or twice a year, and play the game. But it was really just mostly me playing online. So when Tekken 7 dropped and it got really popular, especially in 2018, more people came about. And you know, we had people like Signar Farfalla. He traveled with me a lot to events, and he improved very fast. But he, like many others in Ireland, are taking a break from the game because to them, you know, no offline, no Tekken, because online is not in a great state right now. So there's no point in me stressing over the game online. I can't see my friends, I can't play offline, so I'm just going to do other things, which is totally fine. So we Signar Farfalla. We have John from Northern Ireland. He, in my opinion, of his character, he is the best in Europe of his character, but he doesn't really get many opportunities to travel. Like he was gonna travel last year, but unfortunately COVID happened. We have Vitalik. He came to a few events with us. He's a Katarina player. He's also a new Tekken 7 guy. We have Stink 450, Lily player. He also came to a few events. Not as much as the other two I mentioned, but he came to a few. We got Bert Laxatives, Chicken Chakra, Chime Bang. We got a lot of people coming up, but it's more about adapting to offline from online again, because like I said, you're unable to play to your full potential online. So the stuff that when you play offline, you can't realize, oh, I can actually react to this, or I can actually punish this. So it does take some adaptation from online to offline, and then I'm really grateful for the few days of practice that we had before the tournament actually started. You know, we have a 24-hour set practice room. People just be on WhatsApp like, yo, let's meet up here and then let's just run sets. So the fact there's so many strong players in one room and then people playing each other, it's just kind of just de-rust from online, you know, practice new things, you know. But I feel like some people, especially those in the same group, are like hiding strategies from each other, or because, you know, obviously they don't want to show everything in casuals, especially if they're going to potentially play in tournament, for example. But I'm almost the kind of person who's like, every set I play, I will try my best because I want to know if I'm doing something wrong, and if I'm doing something wrong, I want to fix it. So I just want to assure to everyone, if I ever play in casuals, I am trying my hardest. So some players like kind of has high strategies from each other if they feel like they'll potentially meet in the tournament that they're at. But I always play my best in casuals. Like, I want to know what I'm doing wrong, and if I'm doing something wrong, I want to fix it. So I just want everyone that plays me in casual just know I am trying my best. You know, I'm not hiding anything, because I don't think it's good to hide things. Like, if you feel like you want to hide things in tournaments, you're not really playing your full potential at all times. You know, it doesn't sit well with me. So I always try my best in tournament and in casuals. I think my biggest rival in this tournament would be Super Kuma, because, you know, we travel so many events together and we play each other quite often, especially not even just main characters. For example, we play like random matches with each other, but we always, you know, we talk a lot, and then we always meet in tournament. Like, we meet pretty often in tournament, so I would consider him my biggest rival here. Okay, so before Tekken, I was actually a 2D player. So I played Street Fighter 4 for a long time, for a few years. So when Street Fighter 5 came out, I was on that. I was like grinding the game out, and then I like to play fighting games. You know, I like to try a lot of fighting games. So I played Soul Calibur 6. I played Mortal Kombat 11. You know, games featured here. I played Dead or Alive 6 very briefly, but I think my main game is obviously Tekken, and then I think Street Fighter 5. And then there's new characters coming out for Street Fighter 5. So when they release, I will try the game again. You know, I have like my on and off moments with other fighting games, but Tekken's always been like consistent. And it's kind of weird because I grew up with 3D fighting games. So like Dead or Alive, Tekken, even the Mortal Kombat 3D era. That was like the main era when I was growing up. So yeah, I think mainly 3D fighting games, but for a long time I played Street Fighter 4, for example. I came into my local scene with Street Fighter 4. I really started looking more into the fighting game community in 2009 when Street Fighter 4 dropped. So yeah, it's kind of, like, I'm definitely a 3D player, but I can play 2D games as well. I think Tekken 7 is enough mechanics already, because we already had 2D mechanics introduced into Tekken 7 with the Rage Arts. So they're essentially like ultras from Street Fighter 4, or like supers from 2D games primarily. If I had to bring a mechanic, maybe a burst mechanic in anime fighting games. So when you're being comboed, you can choose to burst out of it. Maybe that could be interesting. It might sound like a horrible idea. It might break the game, but let's maybe see how it works, maybe. I think events like WePlay, you know, it's nice to have invitationals for the players to come, because like big prize pool will always incentivize people to play more, because like during COVID, you know, there wasn't tournaments happening. A lot of people like dropped off playing fighting games. You know, there's no point in us training if there's no events to play for. So I think big tournaments like these, and especially the prize pools, which is becoming more and more prevalent recently because more partners are getting involved, more organizations are showing interest into FGC. So like more money, more players, more content, growth of the scene. So that's just how it happens, really. And I think esports recently has definitely helped that. A big example I can think of is with Tag 2, which is a Tekken previous to this. There wasn't much going on for us, you know, like all the tournaments were community ran. There wasn't much, like Namco didn't really get much to the tournaments, so a lot of it was like funded by the players themselves and the great, amazing tournament organizers. So there wasn't that many events going on in Tag 2 as a result. So when more events start getting involved, more organizations start getting involved in Tekken 7, we saw way more of things like these. You know, like Tekken World Tour brought a lot of exposure to the game. the odd invitational that happens, you know, they bring exposure to play. And like I said, the more people watching, the more interested they're in the game, the more prize pools there are, the more people will be incentivized to take part, and the viewers will increase, content will increase, people playing the game will increase. So it's just like a snowball effect. So I think just more events in general will be great. So when I went to Pakistan, around that time there was an event happening, Tacker Cup, which at the time was a Tekken World Tour dojo. So what that means is it's an event that you can get points to place on the leaderboard in Tekken World Tour. So I was covered to go there to maybe get some points to help my position in the leaderboards. But when I went to Pakistan, it was just amazing. Like, because obviously, like it's just a different world. It's like the people there are so kind. You know, they help any foreigners that go in. They go out of their way to help them, make them feel welcome, make them feel like part of the family. And that was definitely the impression I got when I was there. You know, like when I entered the venue, there's like 40 like lining up, you know, getting pictures, like shaking hands, and getting autographs and everything. So it was nice to be like really like appreciate it. And like the food is next level. Like, you know, you get like takeaways, but it's not quite the same. Like you get like authentic food there, and it's, you know, it's really nice. Because I didn't really go there for the tournament. Like it was like on the side. It was a bonus, but I wanted to go there just be in a different country, just see what's happening, see what the culture's like. You know, get a little bit of taste of the language, the people, the food. Just that's it really. That's one of the reasons why I travel so much. So because the way they play offline, obviously mainly because they have the means to, you know, they have little arcades in various cities, and they use that as like meeting spots to meet up and like level up off each other, which is like the definition of like a grind, you know, like, and they have like little rivalries as well where they would, you know, if someone wins in an arcade, you know, someone's gonna get angry and try and get better and beat them, and then become like the next boss of the arcade. I think that's how some of the scenes go. So the fact that I went there, you know, they're obviously like super strong already because like they play so much, and the way they play the game is like very, very reaction heavy because they're so used to situations. They played thousands and thousands of matches of the same characters, of the same matchups. So they're going to be ready for a lot of things. So when you go there to train, you will see that stuff that you might be used to will not work anymore because they're ready for it. And then you have to develop new strategies, develop new patterns, and just basically evolve around it. And then that's how you improve as a player. So when I left Pakistan, we went to Dubai. So it was like a 2-trip thing, you know, in one go. So when I came back from Dubai, I was like, you know, I'm back in Ireland, you know, kind of like missing the experience already. I think it's just post-holiday blues in general, right? I think that's pretty normal. And so like, you know, just home in my bed, back in Ireland, just like thinking and reflecting back on the experiences. So obviously I learned quite a lot because I got to play, because like each region has their own like maybe unique style. Like in Europe, we tend to challenge things more. In America, they play more on like maybe a bit more neutral based. In Pakistan, they play like a mix of everything. So that's why when you play against them, they're so ready for everything. So you just have to develop new stuff to counter those, and then in result of that, you just become stronger. So when I came back home, you know, I tried to keep that playstyle intact and not have it, you know, ruins by online or ruins by, you know, just delayed netcode. So I just tried to keep that style intact when I came back. So while I played Tekken 6 in the last few months, I wasn't like super competitive. I entered like a local or two in Tekken 6. So I didn't get into Tekken that deep competitively at that point. So when Tekken Tag 2 dropped, that will have been the Tekken I've known for the longest. You know, this style of Tekken, you know, 2 characters versus 2 characters. So that's like the style I got used to. That's like, okay, this is Tekken to me. And I played that for, I think it's 2012 to 2017. That was like the era of Tekken Tag 2. So that was Tekken as I know it. So when Tekken 7 dropped and it was a 1 versus 1 system, I was like, okay, this is very different. It's way less to think about, you know, because you're playing one character against one character. So there's less things to think about. because Tag 2 was extremely hard. Like, there was a reason why a lot of people just got into the game but dropped it, because it was like too difficult. Like the learning curve was too much. So if a Tekken Tag 3 happened, I don't think it would be so popular, because it's just, Tekken's already a hard enough game to learn without having all these extra characters and mechanics to worry about as well. So I think I would rather another solo Tekken from here. So other than fighting games, like I'm a big like horror movie buff. You know, like I love like slasher films. Like I like collections of DVDs. Like I just watch them like every night. You know, like the most random, like really like can I curse a bit? No, like the most random.
What's the movie?
Oh, it's like a lot of like hundreds or whatever. Like there's like 70s, 80s, 90s like slashers. You know, like old ones are like super obscure ones. Like they're horrible, but I watch them anyway.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Scream 1. The first Scream, yeah. Like the opening scene is like nothing else. Yeah, like the opening scene just lives in my head rent free. Like the switch and bait. Oh, she's not the main character. This is the main character, and then the phone call just suddenly turns sinister, and it's just perfect for me. It's just perfect. Okay, so obviously live in the Fita Loca. I am made of you, and La Modita. Well, offline is fancy, you know, like when there's a crowd and you do something good in a match, you know, you get like a reaction out of the crowd, and it kind of like boosts your morale. Kind of, it's like, okay, yeah, I got this, you know. Especially when I have my Irish community with me, you know, like if I do something clutch in a tournament game, they'll scream for me, and I can hear them, and it'll be like, you know, okay, I got this. They're watching me. So my best results in tournaments was when I had them with me. So yeah, so it's been proven time and time again. Like my best results was when my Irish community was there. Like they've done so much for me, because in 2017, I had just, my sponsor got me through 2017. It was some other unrelated sponsor. So when I was finished with that year, they dropped me. And then UIU gave me a chance for the year of 2018. So they had like a huge budget, and they got me to so many events where I was able to build myself up, you know, improve myself as a player, get the results I needed to qualify that year. So I owe them a lot. Like Jinhee, Drew, like they've done so much for me. Like I owe them so much, and like I wouldn't be where I am right now without them, essentially. So with this project was important to me because there's a lot of kids who don't have anywhere to go to if they need help. Like maybe their parents are like openly homophobic or whatever, so they'd have no one to turn to. They have no one family to turn to, and so this Trevor project gave them like a lifeline, like a helpline to essentially, you can talk to us if you're confused about who you are. You can talk to us, and we can hopefully answer your questions. Like everyone has their own experiences. Like obviously I have my own experience as well. So like what I was trying to do for that project, and just for in general, because I'm very open on social media, like, you know, like I had a lot of people tell me, oh, like you being so open on social media's helped me kind of say things to people and open up a bit more. So that's the main things that I want to do, like basically. So yeah, if I can do that for people, then I'm happy, because I didn't have the most pleasant experience myself growing up. So if I can help people avoid that, what I went through, then I'm happy enough, you know. But like what I said, it's just like if I can help people avoid unpleasant experiences growing up, then I know I'm doing my job right.
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, it does, yeah. Because it's my people, you know, like, so if I can help them grow up without the pains of going through it, and I'm all right. No, of course, yeah, like any charities that want to work, you know, I can help them out. Like I have people DM me, you know, and I'm having problems at home, you know, I can't say things to people, like what should I do? And then I just try and help the best I can, you know, with my own experiences, the stuff I went through. So I just try and help them with what I can, you know. I would obviously like to work something in esports. You know, like I would like to stay in gaming. You know, I would like to because I can't really imagine myself doing anything else. So like if I can use what I have now to get a position somewhere in esports, you know, I'm definitely interested in doing that. So that's a dream job for me, I guess. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the people watching me, you know, supporting me from my Discord, from my Twitch chats and stuff like that. Obviously, shout outs to my sponsor UIU for helping me out throughout the years. My family, my friends, you know, the usual, especially the Irish community at home watching me. And then obviously my boyfriend watching me from the stream, I imagine. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.